you ready for the truth? Bring it on.
In this present crisis, government is not the solution to our problem. Government is the problem.
Do you want the whole truth?
I don't think you're ready.
Governments don't control things. A government can't control the economy without controlling people.
It's Crane Durham's Nothing But Truth. Here comes the truth.
Great job as always, Chris Woodward and the American Family News team. Top of every hour, lock it in, AFR Talk. Welcome back, Crane Durham's Nothing But Truth. A little case of the Mondays. I got to tell you, a little case of the Mondays. Because I was looking for this clip. Actually looking for this quote. And we spoke to this last hour. Now, this involves the man who has been tapped to advise the religious tolerance policy for the U.S. military. He refers to sharing the gospel as spiritual rape. Yeah. And by the way, we're the extremists because we believe in natural marriage. Just get a dose of that. Check out the first hour. Had an interview with Tony Perkins. Need to hear it. If you did not, he obviously is before me each and every day on the great AFR Talk lineup. Then spoke with James S. Robbins, deputy editor of Rare.us, on a whole host of things, one of which concerned this topic, which is the national security of the United States. And the Department of Homeland Security chief says, hey, were there other terrorists involved in this Boston bombing? A member of the Department of Homeland Security says yes when Chris Wallace asked him. Roll it.
I think given the level of sophistication of this device, the fact that the pressure cooker is a signature device that goes back to Pakistan, Afghanistan, leads me to believe, and the way they handle these devices and the tradecraft leads me to believe that there was a trainer. And the question is, is that trainer or trainers? Are they overseas in the Chechen region, or are they in the United States? In my conversations with the FBI, that's the big question. They've casted a wide net, both overseas and in the United States, to find out where this person is. But I think the experts all agree that there is someone who did train these two individuals.
With that information coming to light, we have with us our good friend, Hans von Spakovsky, senior legal analyst at the Heritage Foundation. And that was the head of the House Homeland Security Committee, pardon me. And he, of course, was giving you the information on the Boston bombers and the latest. So, Hans, welcome. Great to be with you.
Thanks, Crane.
Hey, why did we read Miranda? Why did we Mirandize him if we're still learning about how this took place and if he had help or not?
Well, there really is no credible explanation by Attorney General Holder. It was only 16 hours between the time they arrested this guy and the time that Holder ordered the U.S. attorney and got a magistrate judge to actually go to the hospital room to get criminal complaints filed against him, read him his Miranda rights, etc. And look, that's not enough time to even begin an interrogation. Anyone who specializes in this, people at the CIA, will tell you that.
So, in essence, this was a policy based on, I guess, ideology trumps national security here.
That's right, because they have never accepted, the Obama administration, they've never accepted that these kind of terrorist attacks are not criminal procedures. That's the way it was viewed during the Clinton administration. That's the way this administration views it. They may give lip service to say, national security, but they see this as a criminal act, not an act of war.
And the difference is, a criminal act. Go ahead.
Yeah, the difference is that the kind of due process requirements that are applied in a criminal situation just don't apply when you are in the middle of a war.
Shifting gears totally here, okay? Not a great way to do this, but it does deal with, well, arguably one of the issues that we have to talk about day in and day out, because there is a movement within the government and supporters of policy to change the definition of marriage as we know it. And so we talk about it a great deal because we want to defend natural marriage. And one of these has to do with the way businesses and non-for-profits conduct their business. A gym teacher in a Catholic school in Ohio claims she was fired after 19 years on the job because of her mother's obituary, published in a local newspaper, revealed that she has a lesbian partner. Okay, now, Hans, can a Catholic school, when they learn through an obituary, fire the gym teacher who's been there 18 years, and they learn that she is a lesbian, which obviously does not comport with the teachings of the Catholic Church?
Yes, they can. And this lady has said that she's going to file a claim against them, but I don't want to be funny about it, but she doesn't have a prayer of succeeding.
Well, that was funny.
Because, look, federal law prohibits sex discrimination, but by that they mean, for example, paying a woman less than you would a man who's equally qualified. It does not apply to sexual preferences, does not apply to homosexuality. So she's got no claim under federal law. You can be fired by an employer for the exact reasons that this Catholic school did, and in particular because, look, apparently this Catholic school has a morality clause in the employment contracts with all of their teachers, and anyone who commits an act that goes against the teachings and beliefs of the Catholic Church loses their job. They're going to win this. They may get into litigation with this lady, but in the end, they're going to win.
And this is why they want to declare homosexuality a civil right? Is that what yes.
That is exactly where they're trying to go with that.
Okay. Now, election fraud in presidential election. And people would say, you mean that, wait a second, Mitt Romney, was the election stolen from Mitt Romney? Well, you're speaking to specifically here, 2008. Hans, your thoughts?
Yeah, last week, a jury in Indiana found a local Democratic Party chairman in Indiana guilty of a conspiracy, along with several other individuals, that faked the names and signatures on the ballot petitions that got Obama on the ballot for the Indiana primary in 2008. He had to get at least 500 signatures from every congressional district. In this one particular district where this Democratic chairman lived, they only had 534 signatures, and it turned out 9 of the pages were completely forged, made up names, made up signatures, 90 fake names and signatures. That took him below the 500-person minimum. And if that had been discovered at the time, he wouldn't have been on the ballot.
Tell me something, Hans. When you're covering these stories, they sound pretty huge to me, pretty consequential. How long did the investigation go, and why haven't we heard more about this leading the newscast? Well,
fascinating point there, because Fox News, Eric Shawn, who's a great reporter there, he did a story about this, but I don't believe that any other major network or anybody else has put out a story about it.
And this is why Hans's book is so timely. Who's Counting? How Fraudsters and Bureaucrats Put Your Vote at Risk. Now, first they tried to claim that people who wanted an ID for verification were somehow bigots and looking to disenfranchise people. The stats didn't back them up, and logic did not back them up. Now we're learning more about the fraud process, and a pretty big story, as Hans just covered. And we have elections in the future, so you may want to read this book. In fact, why don't you? Who's Counting? How Fraudsters and Bureaucrats Put Your Vote at Risk. Hans von Spakovsky, one of the co-authors, and senior legal analyst at the Heritage Foundation. Hans, thank you for taking the time.
Sure. Good night, Crane.
Take care. All right, coming up, internet sales tax. I've got some good news. AFR Talk.